Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Interactive Horror Stories. I'm Mr. Typhlosion. I'll be your host today. I thought I'd open up this like a little podcast thing. I always wanted to start my own podcast. I have been thinking about it for like the last couple of months, maybe a year or so, but I wouldn't know what to like have a podcast about. I guess like creepy stories, but there's so many of those. And I don't know, like I like to talk, if you guys haven't noticed. So I don't know. Suggestions maybe? Would you guys like to listen to a podcast if I ever did one? And like what about? What would I do? But anyway, we did the doll this morning. I'm recording this the same day that I did the doll. I don't know when I'm going to post this for you guys. Probably going to post Dead by Daylight before this one. So if you guys seen the Dead by Daylights before this, then you know that happened. If not, this is probably going to be right after the doll. So anyway, we're going to do after funeral. So you already know how this goes, not how this does. That's not grammar. Anyway, let's get into it. Cue creepypasta music right now. After Funeral is a modern gothic horror story that takes place 3 days after your son's burial. You receive messages in your computer, those claimed to be sent by your son's soul. He says that he wants to be with you once again, and he asks you to do a few things in order to be resurrected. Will you believe in the message? No, we're not. We don't do that. We don't do that. After Funeral. You used to be a father. It has been 3 days since your son, Jonathan White, was buried in the graveyard at the local church. He was 8 years old. He had golden hair and blue eyes, just like the beloved man in the Carpenter's song, Close to You. Since your wife passed away giving birth to Jonathan, and since he has been your everything, he was your angel. Now he's gone. He died on a snowy winter morning. You had gone to the market, leaving him alone at home. When you arrived at home, you found Jonathan lying on the bed, motionless. His face was covered with his pillow, choked. Police couldn't find any trace of trespassing. You clearly remember the solemn moments of Jonathan's funeral. In fact, you try to forget, but details are in front of your eyes and they won't go away. The priest had intoned psalms and prayers. Those yous are not so familiar with you. You are not so religious. While the lifeless body of your son laid in the church, his feet were turned to the east. He was wearing black suits and shiny shoes. His skin was pale. He was way too young for all this. You wished it was you lying there instead of him. Like the day Jonathan died, it's a snowy day in all of Ohio. There are 3 inches of snow outside. It's 1400 now. You are a writer who has been on writer's block since that day. Your favorite word processor is open in the computer. The screen is blank. You haven't written anything for a long time. There are cigarette butts in your ashtray and your black hot coffee in a blue cup on your work table. You chain smoke and consume a lot of coffee nowadays. As you're sipping your coffee, the doorbell rings. Ain't gonna open that. He ain't gonna open that. The doorbell rings once again, but you don't respond. It's probably Bob, your neighbor and friend. You feel an urge to wash your face despite the cold day. Your face somehow got sweaty. After washing your face, you look at your reflection in the mirror. You notice that your eyes got red, mostly because of crying and being sleepless. You turn back to your work table. You look at the computer screen that should have been blank, but no, it is not blank. Something's written. Daddy, I miss you. Jonathan? You type Jonathan at the computer. Then new letters appear on the screen. Whoever types it, he, she, it writes fast. When they are finished, they form 2 sentences. I can hear you. Daddy, talk to me. I would probably. I don't know. Turn the computer off would probably be the best. Let's just turn it off. You turn off your computer and the monitor screen goes black, then nothing else appears on the screen. You don't find anything to write in your novel, so you don't need to turn on the computer once again. And yes, also the text disturbs you. You don't experience anything supernatural during the rest of the day. At night, you take your sleeping pills and fall asleep. You're having a vivid dream. You see Jonathan in a garden with green grass and colorful flowers. He runs around with happiness and angels. There are white dressed angels around him. Everyone is smiling. You are not a part of this dream. Jonathan doesn't see you, but you are still content with seeing him happy in the Eden. He was always a benevolent boy. After all, he deserved to go to heaven. You wake up to the sound of the door ringing. You take a look at the clock. It's 10 a.m. You wear your slippers and open the door. It's Bob. Hello, I need to show you something. He holds a newspaper in his hand. There's an anxiety on his face. You take the newspaper. It's the Ohio local papers. Another kid choked to death. Officers are investigating the curious case of repeated deaths of kids in the state. Yesterday night, a 6-year-old boy, Kevin Madsen, was found dead in his bed by his parents. His face was covered with his pillow. What makes this interesting for officers is this is the 7th time a boy died this way this month in Ohio. Recently, 8-year-old Jonathan White also died with a pillow on his face. Sheriff Volcott states that he finds this recent events quite interesting. That's it? Quite interesting? Why would they reference your son? Like, that's... Well, the end! Well, there are 2 possible endings to that. So, probably an ending is just answering all of the things, answering all the messages, and probably, maybe answering the messages would in fact save the boy. I wish it kind of gave you, like, if that's the good ending or the bad ending. It just says the end. That's a bit anticlimactic. We just kind of avoided everything. Yeah, so that was After Funeral. Honestly, I did that one exactly how I would react to that in real life. If my son had died and he was something was messaging me, first of all, you don't mess with that, man. So I would have answered this exactly how I just went through this. I would have been, nope, done. Get the heck out of my computer. I don't know what you are. You can't prove that you're my kid. Just like, oh, daddy, this. No. You need to give me more. Oh, daddy, no. So no, just. I think the dream was a confirmation that Jonathan was, he was fine. He was fine. He was in heaven. According to that, he was in Eden, or in heaven with angels. So I think we did all right. I think that ending was fine. Let me know what you guys think down below. Sorry for the mess ups. I'm gonna try to cut all that out because I stumbled across, over some words a lot. So next time we're gonna do Crystal Skull, and then Evil Beneath the Ground, and all that. Crystal Skull too. So we get a part 2 of that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm gonna go. Peace out, man. Creepy stories, gotta love them.